What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cognition Fitness Podcast. My name is Mike Lee Fitness, and thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a crazy week. It's been so much in the news, and I haven't been posting a whole lot this week just because I just want my mind to process everything that's been going on. And with so much information that's being put out, I kind of just waited, and I just, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to discuss everything during my podcast because, there's only so much I can write. There's only so much, things you can post. And, I'm coming to a point in my own life where it's like, I'll just talk about it, in a video or something like that, instead of making a Facebook status or making, sharing a photo or video like I've done in the past. And it, in a way, it's like a better, outlet for me to get what I have to say out there. And, sometimes after I say it and, and verbally express it, my anxiety or, my buildup kind of dissipates a little bit because I put it out there. I expended that energy that I had built up for so long. And sometimes when I will post like a status or post like a Instagram post, I will still feel the same way. And I've noticed, since starting, my own podcast, once, I get a better not a better understanding, but time to process information, I have a better way of delivering that information to people that may want to read it or hear it, and in this case hear it. And it's just a better outlet for me. So I kind of been restraining from posting and just talking about everything that's going on, but I've been looking forward to this episode. I've been looking forward to this podcast because it's time to really dive in and get serious. And you guys already know everything that's been going on in the news. I'm a Milwaukee native, so Kenosha is in my backyard. Kenosha's down the block, to me. I've been in and out of Kenosha multiple times, and it's a place that is I don't live in Kenosha, but it seems to me like it's home. I know people that live in Kenosha. I have friends that live in Kenosha or have lived in Kenosha. I've done shopping out there in Kenosha, so I've been out there in that community. So it's something that really hit home. And when the news broke that there was another police killing, I got the news as I was like on my way to going to bed. I believe it was Sunday. And just going down my timeline late at night, and this is something that I got into a habit of, where sometimes I don't like doing that shit because you get something or you get the news and it's like, damn, and then you go to sleep just pissed off and just upset. It's not good for my psyche sometimes. But I got the news Sunday night that there's been another police killing in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha is south of Milwaukee, maybe 25-30 miles, and it's a place that a lot of Milwaukeeans know, and they know people up there or down there. It's south of Milwaukee, so it's relatively in our backyard. It's in our backyard. So I got the news, and it was, my heart just sank. Really, my heart just went to the ground, because here we go again. Jacob Blake, a black man, a father, a husband, he had his life. He had an assassin basically go after his life. He was shot 7 times in the back. When you shoot someone 7 times in the back, you're trying to kill that man. You're trying to kill that person. And on my timeline, I kept hearing something went down in Kenosha. At that time, I didn't have all the facts. I didn't know, but I knew it was some more bullshit. Some more police brutality, some more white supremacist hatred and unjust violent actions towards another black man or another black woman. I knew something was racially, I knew it was racially targeted and racially motivated when I kept seeing status after status after status. I'm like, okay. Keep in mind, I didn't see any type of visuals that include photographs or videos, but my heart just sank, man. And at that time, Sunday night, I just couldn't, like, I didn't want to, I just really just wanted to like go to bed. Like, I was just like, dude, oh, it's like I don't got time for this, but at the same time, you have to make time for this because it's important. And it keeps happening, you can't really escape it because when you wake up, it's going to be right there. So, I stayed up and just, got more information. And eventually I ended up watching, the video just so I can process this information because, it allows me to have a better understanding of what happened. Sometimes people don't like sharing video. I didn't share the video. People that sharing the video are sick. You know what I mean? I didn't share the video. People share it, and that person shares it, and that person shares it, and then it got to a point in the night where people were saying, "Stop sharing the fucking video. Stop sharing that video," because it was making everybody upset. And people we seen it already. We know what happened. We know what it is. So. But I hate watching those videos that come out. But unfortunately, by watching those videos, it allows me to process what happened better. And it gives me, a better way to get a better understanding of the information. Like I said before in the beginning of this video, there's so much information and so much news where it's like, damn, my mind is like hardly like capable of processing everything all at once. So I needed time. Monday night came, or Tuesday night came, and then there was another incident in Kenosha where protests happened that night. We got Kenosha law enforcement and police enforcing a curfew, whether it was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'm not sure, but the peaceful protests lasted past the curfew. And then ultimately you had militia groups in the area targeting these protesters, and that ended up going into a direction where you kind of visualize it in the head, but it has yet to happen, or it happened this time. And a vigilante white supremacist shooter ended up shooting multiple peaceful protesters, and actually killing 2 people. And this was, the prototypical, young white man, or young white, I think he was like 17. So yeah, man. And he had an AR-15 just walking around. Actually, it was a group of militia vigilantes just walking around, or I think they assimilated. And I seen a video of them actually in cahoots with the law enforcement agencies down there. And the law enforcement agencies was in a way protecting these vigilante groups. So it seemed like they were kind of working together against the peaceful protesters that was protesting, police brutality and racial injustice, as we've been protesting for the past, several months, since George Floyd was brutally murdered, by a a racist cop, you know. So it's like this has been in the news constantly, and the energy's been out there, and for it to happen again, and for this to transpire after a protest of basically, you know, homicide, you know, white supremacist homicide against protesters or against, you know, people that have a different opinion and view of what you think is dead wrong. And I've seen footage of this white supremacist asshole walking or running after he committed murder, running past law enforcement without being stopped. He literally ran past law enforcement, walked past law enforcement, and law enforcement didn't stop to search him, to stop him, to arrest him, to charge him at all. And he literally left the scene and went back to Illinois, where he's from. So that just completely fucked up my day. I think that was Tuesday, it was Tuesday night. And that really got to a lot of people, because we've been protesting, we've been saying that there's a double standard when it comes to white men, white women compared to black men, black women. And there's been a double standard in this country and a racial injustice in this country for so long, and it's so evident and clear now where people lie and where people stand. And when we say Black Lives Matter, that's exactly what we mean by that. Our black life matters. And when you constantly see our black life get taken away by senseless, lazy policing and law enforcement, it just comes to a point where it's like, we're going to retaliate back. That's where it's coming down to. Because obviously saying Black Lives Matter is not getting the not the attention, but the understanding that we're reiterating over and over and over again. It's not getting to the mind, or people having I don't think people are even having a hard time processing that, because it's really simple. But I think people don't want to process that, and from that understanding to us, it means that, you know, you're against us. You're against my tribe, my skin color, my culture, my influence, my body, my mind. You are against me as a human being. So I think that people that's not understanding what Black Lives Matter mean, I think it's a crap of bullshit, because it's really not that simple. It's really not that hard to understand and comprehend. It's really not that hard to understand what Black Lives Matter means. We're fighting against institutional racism and institutional prejudice policies against black people, historically and now. When you talk about racism, it has that ism at the end of the word. That means a system. Ism, that means a system. Racism is a system. And this system has been decimating, destroying communities, destroying, people, black people, for decades, for centuries, for over 400 years. Even though we can go further beyond that if you do your history. So these police killings and these racial injustices over and over that's happening is going to come to a point where, you know, people are going to snap back, or people have already snapped. You know, it's like, what more can we say? What more can we do? You know, Jacob Blake was a black man who was shot 7 times in front of his in front of his kids. His kids was in the car. That shows you the no mercy attitude and the no mercy judgment of these people that's claiming to protect and serve for this country. If you're willing to completely destroy a fellow citizen and a fellow husband and a fellow father in front of his own kids, that shows how shameless and how evil you can be. It's completely disgusting and it's nasty that we actually have people walking around with that type of mindset, saying that, hey, he may had a record, or hey, he didn't comply with law enforcement demands, or hey, he looked like a criminal, or hey, you know what? That's just what he gets. Because you have people with that mindset, and those people are sick and disgusting as well. And it's like, we're in a space now, the world is, not just America, but the world, but especially in America, where we definitely have sides, but it's going into a place that's going to be very violent. The future right now looks very, very violent, and it doesn't look like it's granted for everyone. Like tomorrow is not granted. Next year is not granted. 5 years from now is not granted. Once you have this type of violence and you don't put an end to it, it can spread so fast. And that's what's been happening, you know, especially over the past several years, is that this violence has been spreading and spreading and spreading, and it feels like it's been growing because policies have not changed. People that are in positions of power have not eradicated this violence. And there's been a lot of talk, but there's been no action from local agencies, state agencies, federal agencies. There's been nothing, and they have let this thing foster and grow. And now the problem is so violent. What you have now is something that's so violent that's going to be very hard to stop. It's going to be very hard to stop. It's very hard to stop a person from killing another person. That's the mindset of hundreds and hundreds of people that have hopped on that white supremacist train in a way. That they have nothing but hatred towards people that don't look like them. You know, I remember Trayvon Martin when that story broke. I remember when the Heat came on national TV and they had those hoodies on. At the time, I was just out of school, and a lot of college students, when they're in school. You kind of in this bubble, in a sense, where you kind of just you worried about your midterm. You worried about, your next paper that's due. You're not really thinking about the system of racism, even though you see it on campus. You know what it is, but at the same time, it's not something that you really think about like that, because you have so much other shit that's going on during that time. And when I got out of school, it was in 2012, and when the Trayvon Martin story started to get heat was in 2013 in the spring, I believe. And then you out this bubble in a sense, and now life is really more clear and racism is more clear, especially when you see it at the office, at a corporate level, from a political level. When I was out of school at the time, I'm 22, so I'm voting now, so I'm getting more into like policy and stuff like that. So I'm out of this bubble. And I remember when the Trayvon Martin thing hit, and when there was no justice that was produced, I knew that, this was a slippery slope that America did not want to go in or go toward. It's like, we can't go down this way. And after that, it's been case after case, Mike Brown, Tamir Rice, case after case after case after case, Walter Scott, of these killings on tape, broad daylight, and it don't matter what time of day it is. It's just been case after case after case after case of these police killings, of these shootings, of these homicides, and no justice was produced. On top of that, in 2016, you add a guy like Trump and put him in office, who's going to galvanize people with that disgusting, deplorable mindset even more. I knew these next 4 years was going to be super hard. I wasn't worried, but I knew we had to remain vigilant, and we had to remain on our P's and Q's, because he was going to do something that wasn't done in so long, and that was to galvanize people with that racist, disgusting mindset to go out and show your racism. Be overt with it. We don't care anymore. We don't care if we get caught. We don't care if we lose our jobs. We don't care if you have videotape. We don't care. This is what I feel. This is what I believe. This is a religion to me. White supremacy is a religion to these people. This is what I believe in. I will go to the grave believing this. And this is the mindset that a lot of white Americans have. And now, fast forward to 2020. Look what we have. We have this violence all over the world. All over the world. This violence. White supremacist violence. Racial injustices. Case after case after case where no justice is produced. A cop kills a black man. He gets on administrative leave. They do an investigation. Not guilty. Cop kills another black man. Administrative leave. They do a quote unquote thorough investigation. Maybe it gets to trial. Maybe it gets to trial. If he gets charged, not guilty. You had cops that murdered Breonna Taylor. They're not even charged. They're not even fired. We can't even get cops fired in 2020. That's what the precedent is now at. You can go out and kill black people. Guess what? You won't even get fired. You'll get administrative leave. We'll do an investigation. But you're not going to lose your pension. You're not going to get fired. If you do get fired, we'll just transfer you outside of the city or to a different suburb in a few months when it's died down. We'll just transfer you. We don't actually fire you. We actually just transfer you over to another department. That's what it is now, and it's unbearable. It's scary. LeBron came out and was like, it's being black is something that's frightening. You know, when you leave your house, when you leave your wife, when you leave your kids, because when you leave that house, it's not guaranteed that you will return. It's not guaranteed. Not just law enforcement, but we got vigilantes out there, people that's ready to do work against you. You got those people as well, in addition to just good old-fashioned racism. You got that. So we got all these traps when we leave that house. And not just when we leave the house. Breonna Taylor was killed in his house. That brother who lived down in Dallas was killed in his house. It's not just in the house anymore. We're in the house, outside of the house now. It doesn't matter where you are. You can get got. And that's what's scary. That's what LeBron was talking about. That's a space mentally that it really puts you in a mindset of what can I really do? You feel helpless. It's very unmotivating to know that you are powerless. No matter how much education you get, it doesn't matter the amount of money that you have, economic status, classism, none of that stuff matters when you're dealing with a evil and a violence like this. Wisconsin is one of the most racist states. And a lot of people don't know that because we're kind of in the Midwest. We don't have, the history of some of the states that's in the South. And we're a low or a small market state, I would say. But Wisconsin is one of the most racist states in this country. Keep in mind, there were protests back in 2016. Look up those protests back in 2016. And here we are a few years later, back on mainstream news and radio outlets for more protests of the same root, the same incident. Here we are. It's sick, man. It's sick. It's very sick. And it's like we don't know the end date of this, or if it has an end date. We don't know the ending. It's like a scary movie. You wake up every day and it's like, oh man, I hope this scary movie ends. I hope it ends. But you go to sleep. Thank God, by His good graces, you wake up and it's back in this movie. That's just this horror. It's horror. It's tough being black. It's tough being black. It is tough being black. But as black people, we will rise up. We will join forces. We will have unity because we are a special people. We have a God that's on our side. You know how many times other groups have tried to decimate us and just totally annihilate us? but yet we come back stronger, better, wiser. You cannot destroy us. We are too strong. And they know that. And that's the main thing that scares them, because they know that we're coming. And you cannot stop us. So, it's been a tough week. The NBA has basically shut down again. They are doing what they can. The Milwaukee Bucks, the national basketball team that's associated with Wisconsin, that's only, like I said, 30-40 minutes away from Kenosha. They have decided to boycott, game 5 against the Orlando Magic. So, the team was like, hey, let's just boycott. And then that led to other teams boycotting their games that night. And right now is Thursday, August 27th, and there's no basketball today. So the NBA is trying to do what they can, but the NBA, it can't just be the NBA. They're the NBA. They're basketball players. They're not politicians. They don't have the power like that. They have influence, but they don't have power to change what we're trying to change. They can't do it. It doesn't matter how many tweets LeBron make, how many shirts that say Black Lives Matter on them, what the court says, what commercials they want to put out there advertising. It doesn't matter what they do. They don't control this. We gotta speak to the controllers. So right now, NBA players is trying to get involved, or trying to get the owners involved, to speak to the controllers, to speak to people that's at the state level, at the local levels, at the federal levels, to see what changes they can make. And I've stated this already before, but I'll say it again. There needs to be police reform. There needs to be a serious discussion of police reform. And do we really need police officers? Do we really need police? It's getting to a point where police officers are doing more harm than good. So now we have to step back and actually evaluate the position. We need to evaluate the requirements for the position. We need to reevaluate why we are policing communities that don't really need policing. Why the protocol is the way it is. Why you can shoot and kill a fellow American and not be fired, not be charged. You're getting away with criminal activity because you have a badge on. We have criminals working for the state, working for the local agencies, working for the federal agencies, law enforcement, FBI. We have criminals working at these agencies that we need to re-evaluate. Some of this stuff needs to go. You shoot and kill an unarmed black man, there is no administrative leave. There is no leave. You're fired, you're charged, you're going to prison. Just like any other criminal. Have it the same way. Equality. Have it the same way. If I shoot and kill someone, if I go outside this house, shoot and kill somebody, guess what? I'm getting arrested and I'm going to jail. I'm going to prison for the rest of my life. I will not have freedom for the rest of my life. That needs to happen to these officers immediately when it's done. When they commit the crime, they do the time. Is that easy? Is that simple? There needs no investigation. No investigation needs to happen. You clearly have clear evidence. These investigations, they last for months and months and months. They take all time, and then if they do get charged, they go to trial, and that takes more more time, and all of a sudden you looking at 2-3 years after they committed the crime. If there is justice produced. No, we need fast and clear judgment. You know, these investigations don't need to be taking 2 or 3 months. You know what happened. You know the intent. This is what happened. They need to be charged. They need to do the time. It's that simple. You want these protests to stop? There needs to be justice. It's that simple. It's that simple. But no, that won't happen. So that is what needs to happen. That's what we're fighting for. That is what we want. That's tangible. We want tangible results. So, you know, it's very unfortunate that this continues to happen, but the reason why it continues to happen because people don't get punished. They don't get punished. It's like you dealing with a bully at school he keep picking on the little kids. This big bully. Let's say you got kids that's like, 4 feet 5, 60 pounds. You got this 6 foot, 205 pound bully that's beating up the kids, taking the kids' lunch money. And you have this system, which is the school, not doing anything about it. Guess what? That kid gonna come the next day, that bully, he's gonna beat up some more kids and some more kids. What? I'm not gonna get suspended? I get to take all this money and resources from the other kids and not get suspended? Oh, this is great. I can't wait to get to school tomorrow. And that's what we have. We have this bully. Synonymous for white supremacy. And we have these little kids, black people, people of color, and nothing is being done about it. The system is not looking out for us at all. There's so many names now, man. There's so many names. And these shootings is senseless. You taking away birthdays, you taking away anniversaries, you taking away prom pictures with they little daughters, you taking away grown man talks, you taking away first dances, you taking away game nights, going to the baseball game, going to the basketball game with your dad, with your sons. You taking away all that for nothing. It's senseless. You shoot a man 7 times in the back. It is senseless to shoot a man 7 times in the back. It is senseless. It doesn't make no sense, but it's just it's evil. You tried to assassinate that man because he didn't comply to your order. Okay, I'm the big man. I'm the bad man. Okay, I gotta kill him now. That's how you think? And you're a law officer? You're a police officer? That's how you think. You don't do what I say. Okay, that's your life. You're dead. You are a fucking Nazi. That's what Nazis did to Jews who didn't comply. They murdered them on sight. What? You don't want to go here? Boom. That's what's happening right now with law enforcement. We got fucking Nazis in law enforcement. The spirit is alive and well. It ain't the 1940s, but that spirit is alive and well. We got a Nazi regime. We got a lot of work to do, man. It's gonna be this year, 2020, is gonna wake up a lot of people. And 2021, like I said, there's no end date. I'm sure this is gonna be going on in 2021. Get ready. This is a fight This is the fight of fights. This is the battle of battles. This is the war of wars. The winner of this battle will be supreme. The winner of this battle, of this war, will have world domination. We will fight, we will come together, and we will win, because we always have. Evil cannot become supreme. God would not allow it to happen. Not on his planet that he created. Or God would just intervene and take control. And they know that. They know this. Evil cannot win. It cannot win. It has never won and sustained the status of being supreme. It will not win. It's sad. It's very sad. I know this podcast, it's a lot to digest, but it's something that I had to make. And it's very serious. I'm not really going to be discussing any other topic, but the most important topic, and that is racial injustice. I am a voice. I have a platform. I want to use it. Whatever I can do, I'm down. I'm ready. I am ready. And it's hard because, in a few weeks, I have a wedding. My mind is supposed to be focused on my wedding and that's the whole process of my wedding day. And it's supposed to be a time of love, which it is. But at the same time, when you got this bullshit, it makes it very, very hard to just completely unwind and just enjoy the fact that I'm getting married and just enjoy the time with my family, friends, stuff like that. It's like, dude, it's hard, bro. It is hard. So like I said, man, it's something that's it's a battle. It's a battle. There's so many people with opinions and we should do this, we should do that. I would say that the most important thing that we have to do as Black people is that we have to come together. There shouldn't be no separation between groups within Black society. We all have to come together to fight this fight. We need influence and power to make these changes. That's what we need. That's what we need. So it's been a very emotionally draining week. Like I said, every day I leave my house, I'm glad that I make it back. I'm glad to be alive today. That is a blessing. I am glad to be alive. I am glad to be in the land of the living, because it is not granted every day that I wake up that I would make it back in those doors when I leave. So it's gonna get interesting. The NBA, they're still boycotting. No return date has been set. A lot of the other leagues, MLB, NFL, they're on the same boat, on the same page as the NBA. A lot of people are trying to get this thing handled because, we have an election coming up as well. So that's going to be a whole different beast. And unfortunately, I feel like it's gonna be in the news. It's gonna be in the news. So, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. I'll make sure to get this out ASAP because it's something that people needs to hear, learn from, and hopefully grow from. And I feel like it's very, very important. So thank you guys for listening. This does conclude the podcast, episode 3, baby. If you haven't done so, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, Cognition Fitness. You can follow me personally at Mike Lee Fitness. And I will see you guys at the next podcast. All right, y'all stay safe, be blessed. Tell your people you love them. Tell people that you love and support them. You know, start showing love. Start to show love. If you haven't called someone, you've been having little gripes with people, knock that off, man. Knock that off. Call that person. Text that person. Let that person know that you love them every day, every single day. All right, so I'll see you guys at the next podcast. Y'all be blessed, man. All right, peace.